You mentioned something in the second volume. I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but there's a part where you mention you quote the gospel where Jesus says it's very hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And you talk about the word rich, not just meaning monetarily.
Yes.
But a variety of different things. You want to elaborate on that? Because I found that to be a very fascinating insight.
Yeah, I was actually quoting C.S. Lewis there, who wanted to say that that the picture there of wealth was more or less just a metaphor for in any way whatsoever feeling as if our life is satisfactory. And what Lewis wanted to say was that God takes away good things from us in such a way that we realize, no, what we have is not enough. Søren Kierkegaard, talks in one place, and I quote him in the second volume, about rich people, and this is a couple of centuries ago, so it's before cars, but it's when people had carriages, talking about rich people riding in their carriages at night with lights on the side of the carriage, which illuminate inside the carriage, but don't allow them to see the stars. And in fact, what we need to see are the stars that are supposed to guide us. That's why my first volume is called When the Stars Disappear. I take the picture from Acts 27 and 28, where Paul encountered this horrible storm on the Mediterranean Sea and saw neither sun nor moon nor the stars for over 2 weeks. And the concern was that here they are in the middle of the Mediterranean. There's a place called the Syrtis, which is kind of shoals that are in the middle of the Mediterranean. If they were driven against that by the storm, the boat would have broken up. They would have all died. Within that framework, God came to Paul and said, you're all going to be all right if you stay on board. So when the stars disappear, we find ourselves panicking. We find ourselves not able to orient ourselves to life. We need the stars of both our personal stories, the stories that tell us where we came from, where we are, where we want to go, and the stars of a great general story that tells us what the meaning of human life is, what human beings are for. We need all of that sort of stuff. What I'm riffing on, in a sense, in the second volume with regard to Kierkegaard and with regard to Lewis is the fact that we as human beings just tend to be satisfied with what we have in this life if it is in any sense satisfactory. And so God, as Lewis makes clear in The Problem of Pain, God will take those things away in such a way that then we look up. My way of putting it is that we look up and we look for the stars that are supposed to orient us. And within that framework, by God's grace, we may find that the only stars that are adequate to orient us are found in God's full Christian story of creation, fall, redemption, and consummation.